Welcome to Taco, Tag, and Text. I think I got those out of order. Welcome to Taco, Text, and Tag Tuesday. Let's take Taco out for a walk. And check out this funny text from a few days ago. Taco's always up to something. Next, what are the antics with this blanket that this crazy dog has going on? Can we see that ending pose one more time? Okay. Let's head back home and do this tag. Next up, let's jump right into the tag. Thank you so much to Anne at In Search of Wonder for tagging me. Winter Essentials tag. This is the Winter Essentials tag, and as she said, it's even better to think of it as Christmas because that's the most wonderful time of the year. So I'm going to be checking out my list here for the prompts for the tag. Here we go. Number 1. A crackling fire. These are winter essentials, Christmas essentials. So the crackling fire stands for favorite cold character who warmed up. I immediately thought of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol and the classic Ebenezer Scrooge because his change immediately impacted that family that he was able to then bring light to on Christmas. So that's my favorite story, and last year I got to enjoy a live theater production of A Christmas Carol at a dinner theater, and it was just a wonderful time. We were surrounded by friends, coworkers, and ministry partners, and I absolutely was so thankful for that opportunity. Next up, Snowflakes, a book full of unique characters. So I spoke this one out loud with my mom, and she immediately answered The Hobbit by Tolkien. However, my response was Because of Winn-Dixie. And by the way, Because of Winn-Dixie was an answer, well, the Winn-Dixie part was an answer to a Jeopardy question earlier this week in December of 2024. So I think that would have been December 11th or so. Number 3, a gingerbread family, a fictional family I'd like to be part of. I thought of the family in this book, Caddy Woodlawn, which I read as a young person. And again, I talk about sometimes the scene in this where the mom has baked some potatoes and they put it in their pockets and use them as hand warmers as they walk to school. And I remember another part about some baking or cooking going on in their family kitchen, and I don't know, this book as a child warmed my heart, and I am determined to read it again this year so that I can find out, do I still feel those same, warm feelings? So Caddy Woodlawn. Number 4 for the Winter Essentials, Blizzard, a book that had me confused the whole time. And I'm going to go with the first thing that came to my mind from things I read in 2024 And it's not a full book, I realize that. But The Yellow Wallpaper was a short story that I understood what was happening, and yet I was utterly confused about why and whatnot. So if you've read The Yellow Wallpaper, you already understand. I'll just leave it at that, it's easy to stay confused about why the things are happening. Number 5, gift giving. The last book that was gifted to you, or to me. So the last book that was gifted to me was David Brooks' How to Know a Person, and I'll just read you the back cover. There's one skill that lies at the heart of any healthy person, family, school, community, organization, or society. The ability to see someone else deeply and make them feel seen, to accurately know another person, to let them feel valued, heard, and understood. And yet we humans don't do this well. All around us are people who feel invisible, unseen, misunderstood. In How to Know a Person, Brooks sets out to help us do better, posing questions that are essential for all of us. If you want to know a person, what kind of attention should you cast on them? What kind of conversations should you have? What parts of a person's story should you pay attention to? Driven by his trademark sense of curiosity and his determination to grow as a person, Brooks draws from the field of psychology and neuroscience, and from the worlds of theater, philosophy, history, and education, to present a welcoming, hopeful, integrated approach to human connection. How to Know a Person helps readers become more understanding and considerate toward others, and to find the joy that comes from being seen. Along the way, it offers a possible remedy for a society that is riven by fragmentation, hostility, and misperception. The act of seeing another person, Brooks argues, is profoundly creative. How can we look somebody in the eye and see something large in them, and in turn see something larger than in ourselves? How to Know a Person is for anyone searching for connection and yearning to be understood. And I think that's all of us to some sense, or we know someone who we'd like to reach out and make a difference in their lives. So that was the last book I was gifted. Okay, number 6 in our winter essentials, Snowball, the biggest book ever read. Okay, I have no idea. That kind of answers that. I just period have no idea. As an adult, I really haven't read any mammoth books to say. Thinking of getting out my notebook that I've kept track and just say whatever book had the most page numbers from 2024. But I kind of didn't grab that little book where I was handwriting things. And nothing, literally nothing is popping into my mind as being a book to kind of brag on the page numbers about. I have no idea. That's going to change. I really like this tag, and I plan to do it every year because I think at least some of the answers could change enough from year to year based on how different books are kind of hitting you in life, that not only because I don't have an answer for this one, but also I would just really like to maybe do this one every year. Okay, moving on. Wrapping paper. I'm literally repping the Star Wars tonight because this, well, at least for this year, was my Christmas wrapping outfits. Maybe I'll insert a quick picture right here. So I'm not the amazing wrapper. I am in the family, but not Christmas wrapping, not wrapping paper. So we traditionally sit at a table, and any gifts that go into the pre-made boxes that are already like cute, they just get a name tag slapped on there and maybe some tape to hold it all closed. That's me. I get that job. The one with the actual like wrapping paper, and we want it to look nice with crisp edges. Yeah, that goes to my husband. Not my forte. Or my oldest, actually my second daughter. She's amazing. Pretty young child. She would watch her older sister get taught things, and she would just determine that she was going to become amazing at them, and she has quite often done very well. And everything from tying her shoes to learning some basic Spanish, she picked up on and has worked really hard at, among other things, to overcome her sister. So interesting way of going about it, because I was an only child, so I don't connect with all of that side of things. Anyway, all that to say, wrapping paper is what we did tonight. And for the tag, it is your most beat up book. So I grabbed 2 fairly beat up books off my shelf. One of them is this hymnal that has all taped on the sides. The edges are, you know, a little bit torn and rough, but the pages are actually in really nice condition. It's all yellowed, but besides that, but if it wasn't taped, this back cover would not be attached. And so that is that hymnal. The second one that was really beat up for me is this old speller. It has no side binding, and it's kind of cruddy on the back. I just love how the front of it looks though. Yeah, it's pretty bad on the inside. And some writing. But those are my 2 books that are the most beat up. Christmas Lights, a book I own with many colors on the cover, and I was not going to pick this book until I went to look at the books that had come to mind, and they weren't as colorful as I thought. So the one I did come up with that was sitting as a decoration in my living room is this copy of Little Women, and one of the reasons I chose it is because of how vibrant those colors are. The back isn't necessarily a lot of colors, but even to me in the artwork, although those interior artwork is not colorful, it's almost drawn in such a way that you imagine the colors. So anyway, the beautiful vibrant colors there are my Christmas lights. Number 9, Ice Skating, a book that has a plot that is all over the place. And for this one, I chose a book by Matt Haig called How to Stop Time. And it was literally all over the place in that they time traveled, but that was a story that I just felt like the plot was a little bit of everywhere. So that was my choice. Number 10, Christmas Tree, favorite character of all time. I actually chose 2 for this one. I chose Pippi Longstocking because there was a time when I would go to a babysitter's house during the summers, and I would watch game shows, like those late morning game shows, and I would watch the Pippi Longstocking movie over and over and over again. And I can still sing a bunch of the songs because they're just in my brain forever. So yeah, I like looking back at life. I had a few different things that were brought into my life when I was really young that said, you know what, it's okay to be that odd one out. It's okay to not have to go with the flow of things, especially if you don't agree with whatever the majority are doing. And Pippi Longstocking was one of those. As I got a little bit older and I read some books through school and things, Johnny Tremain and his stand for patriotism and doing right even when you feel like you're too young to make all those choices. Johnny Tremain is a character that is absolutely beloved for me. The Star, a book I look forward to reading every year. The one I read this year that after reading it, I found myself saying, I want to read that every year, is called A Quiet Life by Ethan Joella. It is one that talks about enduring and staying encouraged through grief and trials. Even sometimes when I don't have major events happen in my life, I find that either my empathy for others or my sensitivity to minor challenges can be more emotional than they really should. And I just felt that this book gave me a really good balance and a reminder of going through grief with a strength that is outside of myself. So, A Quiet Life by Ethan Joella. Number 12 of our essentials is a snowball fight. And this one's said to tag 5 people. The people I'm tagging are Pat at Book Chat with Pat, Reney at Beyond Books, Dani at Spinelli Speaks, Kristen and Maddie at Kristen and Maddie, and Jess at Pages and Grace. So those are my 5. I'm throwing a snowball at each of you, and okay, I'm a terrible aim, but we're gonna pretend I'm a really good aim, and splat, you just got hit with a snowball. You're freezing cold, and you're about to enter this snowball fight